Hello YouTubers, thank you for returning. For my Filipino followers, kamusta to you? Today I'm going to show you a very basic and simple sourdough recipe. All the ingredients are organic, and I have been using this starter for probably about a year now, feeding it every week, keeping it alive and using it, and it is a very, very good starter. So what we're going to do today in this part one is I'm going to show you all the ingredients that we do. We'll talk about the recipe, and we will prepare our starter tonight so that first thing in the morning I will show you how to make bread in the Cuisinart bread maker. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing let's talk about is everything that we need to do to make the sourdough bread. And I have stilled shots of each of these items so you can make notes about them as we go through. The first thing you're going to need, and because this video is about making sourdough bread in a bread maker, is I have the Cuisinart CBK 110 series. It's a small loaf. It'll make like 1.5 pound loaf of bread, but we have a small family. If you have a larger family, Cuisinart does make larger loaves that you can use this and just increase the recipe for that unit. The next thing you'll need is a digital scale. The one I bought is on Amazon. It's a top prime unit, but any digital scale that will do grams or ounces. And you'll see when you're putting everything in the bread maker tomorrow, it makes it so much easier to tar it, and then you add the next ingredient. So I'll show you that tomorrow. The other things are mason jars. I have a smaller 12-ounce jar that I use for starter, and then a larger 24-ounce jar that I use for the starter the night before so it rises. The smaller ones are not big enough, so you can use containers, anything, but I have found with the larger mason jars it works really nice. Ingredient wise, I use King Arthur's organic unbleached flour. I also use honey, and of course you can't get organic honey. I do source mine from a local Pennsylvania company, but any kind of, and I use like a golden nectar, and you'll see it here in the still shots. I also use salt and olive oil, and then just warm water, and those are the basic ingredients. They don't sound like much, and it's really not, but the flavor that you will get from this is outstanding. Okay, so this is the sourdough starter that I have in the refrigerator, and just briefly, let's talk about sourdough starter. I attempted to try to make my own sourdough starter and was unsuccessful, so I ended up purchasing mine online from a company in San Francisco. So this starter is over 200 years old, and the older it is, the more robust the flavor it has. So I've been very happy with this. So let's get started and show you. Now, one of the things you're going to see on top here, this liquid, what that kind of means is that the starter is fermenting. That is actually called hooch, that liquid. Some people will pour it off, others will mix it in. If you mix it in, it gives it a little more soury taste. So I kind of just mix it right in there. And if you get some kind of a silicone-like spatula, this makes things a lot easier. So I just kind of mix it all back in together. And then as you're doing your sourdough, the consistency should be like a very thick pancake mix. And when you do the hooch and you mix it in, you'll see it's a little looser, but still very sticky type. That's the other thing too. It is very sticky. And once you empty a jar, you need to put some water in right away, because if you let it sit and get hard, it's very difficult to get off. Okay, so now that we have this stirred in, let's go ahead and start doing it. Turn on your scale. Okay, let's change this mode to ounces. So now with my recipe, you need 8 ounces of starter, fresh active starter. So when you're making your starter, it is always a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 part starter, 1 part flour, 1 part water. So to get the 8 ounces, I will put 3 ounces of this starter into the jar. And again, you know, precision, if you're a little over, it's still okay. Come on, get off. There we go. 299. Let's just give it another little shot. And 312. So we're good there. So now you do, you just hit the tar button. That will clear out your measurement for your next ingredient. So our next ingredient is water. So I have filtered water here. We will put 3 ounces of that. And 315. Good. And now take your spatula, just stir it in a little bit to help dissolve the starter a little in the water. Okay, good. Now we will tar the scale again, and now we will add 3 ounces of the King Arthur flour. Ooh, almost. One more shot. There we go. 2.2. And now you'll just stir it up. And like I said, it'll start off loose. And then as you keep stirring it, let me see if I can get you a shot of that. Yeah, if you keep stirring it, it gets thicker. And you just want to keep stirring. You want to make sure you dissolve all the flour around the sides and the bottom. Just give it a good, vigorous mix. And you can see how thick it is now. It's much thicker than the original starter that we put in here. But that's about good. So now what I do is you want to make sure that it doubles. So I kind of just scrape down the walls with the spatula. I scrape the walls down of the jar. So you can kind of see where the starter is. And then I usually take a rubber band, put it at the line where it is, and then put the cap loosely on the jar. And that's it. I just leave it right there. And then in the morning, we'll come down and we'll see that it's actively has risen, at least double. And then we will commence with making the bread. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the process from start to finish. So you'll get your starter out of the refrigerator, you'll mix it up with the flour and water, and then you'll set it on the counter overnight. You know, roughly like 7:30, 8 o'clock that night, you'll start it. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll begin to make your bread. Get all your ingredients together, add all your dry ingredients first, then your wet ingredients, put it in the machine, the bread machine. You push the dough cycle. It'll show like 1 hour and 30 minutes. After about an hour, you'll pull the paddle out, and then you just let it sit for 5 hours. And about 1 o'clock, check your bread. If it has risen to the top of the pan inside, you know it's time to bake. You set it on the bake cycle for 1 hour, and it's done. Once it's done, you take it out, put it in the oven, brown it a little bit if you want the top browned a little more, and then you just let it cool. Slice it and enjoy. That's it. So that's it. Very simple. We'll follow those steps that I just talked about tomorrow, and we will have sourdough bread. Thanks for watching part 1. Stay with me for part 2, and we'll make sourdough bread.